It's now 6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to The Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, Fiji's new trade potential with United Arab Emirates. Prime Minister questions Sodelpa's push for George Spate's parole. And Speaker of the House says she did not hear Kaisi uttered in Parliament. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The United Arab Emirates is solidifying its bilateral cooperation with Fiji by exploring new opportunities in trade, investment, tourism and aviation. Their Foreign Minister, Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, met with the Prime Minister Vorenghe Bainimarama and senior government officials in Nadi this afternoon. Christopher Chand reports.
Sheikh Abdullah arrived in Nadi last night. This is his second visit to Fiji. Today he first met with Foreign Minister Ratu Inoke Kumbuambola, where they discussed ways the two countries can benefit from each other. There were also talks on finalizing pending agreements that are still being discussed.
I'm very delighted and honored to be in Fiji again. This is my second visit after 5 years. It's definitely a great opportunity to come here and to explore our relationship, but also to move our relationship further.
He inaugurated a solar grid project that is being constructed by a UAE company to provide clean energy to outer islands like Kandavu, Lakemba and Rotuma. Sheikh Abdullah then met with the Attorney General Ayah Sayed Kayum before ending the discussions by holding talks with the Prime Minister Vorenghe Bainimarama.
We also explored how we could further enhance our bilateral relationship when it comes to enhancing trade, investments, flights, tourism, and there are definitely a lot of opportunities here in Fiji that are worth exploring.
The UAE has also commended Fiji for its peacekeeping duties in the Middle East.
We are also very thankful and grateful for the people of Fiji and their commitment in spreading peace, their participation in peacekeeping throughout the Middle East, in Lebanon and Sinai, and that's another matter that we had a chance to touch on. We are looking forward to the visit by the Minister of Defense next week to the Emirates, where we will have a better chance to focus on those matters as well.
Sheikh Abdullah departed Fiji for New Zealand this afternoon. His visit further cemented the strong relations between Fiji and the UAE. It also symbolizes Fiji's growing foreign relations with some of the biggest economies in the world, following the visits by the heads of China, Indonesia and India last year. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenghe Bainimarama has questioned why opposition leader Rotemu Mukepa asked about the status of 2000 coup leader George Spate in Parliament. Chanel Sivan reports the issue was raised in Lautoka today.
At the opening of the Legal Aid Commission office in Lautoka, Prime Minister Vorenghe Bainimarama spoke about justice for all Fijians. He then recalled a moment from the 2000 coup where Rotemu Mukepa was seen with George Spate at the then Parliament complex in Veotosuva.
In the building behind her, of course, the democratically elected government was being held hostage, and yet she was happy to be seen with George Spate with his arm around her. And why now use only the third parliamentary session we have had in our new democracy to question the fate of this person, someone who previously damaged our nation and economy and ruined the lives of thousands of Fijians.
Rotemu last week asked about the status of Spate and others and whether they can be released under the prerogative of the Mercy Commission. Bainimarama said a phone call to any reputable lawyer would have provided the answer.
Spate was sentenced to death but his sentence was commuted to life imprisonment. That life sentence means life. He was having been sentenced to death in the first place. That life sentence cannot be commuted any further. George Spade is to spend the rest of his life behind bars. And Rote Mugapa knows it. She knew it then, she knew it last week when she asked this question, and she knows the answer now.
The Sodelpa and the opposition leader earlier told FBC News she wants justice for Spade and his family.
They have a young family, and young families have grown up without them. And other people have carried out coups. We all know that. So not everyone is equal. That's what we are saying. But we just want justice to be done for everyone in this country.
My question again, ma'am, does Sodelpa want these three men out?
That's what I'm saying, that justice needs to be seen to be done.
Rote Mumu says they are looking at the matter from the human rights perspective. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The Speaker of the House, Dr. Chico Luveni, has clarified that she did not hear the derogatory term Kaisi uttered in the Parliament chambers in last week's sitting. Luveni says, contrary to a front-page Fiji Times article, she was only advised of the word being used by other members of Parliament. She says the matter remains to be dealt with and Parliament will now get legal advice on what disciplinary action can be taken, if any. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
It's been the most talked about Parliament saga to date, the use of a derogatory and racist term making the headlines with no clear answer on who said it and why. Speaker of the House, Dr. Chico Luveni, clearing the air somewhat, first denouncing any notion that she herself heard it, as reported in a front-page article of a daily paper.
The way that it was reported in the Fiji Times today was very misleading, to say that I heard it when in fact I did not hear it. It was heard by others in Parliament, but not by the Hansard reporter. Did not pick the word up because it was said in the middle of so many arguments going on and so many people speaking at the same time, so that only very few people heard it.
And Luveni is not stopping there. The ire of this type of speech in a Parliament chamber is cause for action.
The disciplinary measure, as far as I'm concerned, should have been made at that time. But it was made in a sitting that was made 2 weeks ago, and we're looking to it at the moment. But we'll seek some legal advice on it.
While it's unclear what this action will inevitably be, it is a reflection of how heated debates in Parliament can get and how discussions can easily disintegrate into something unparliamentary. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
And this evening, Fiji Times editor-in-chief Fred Wesley said they were going to consult the journalists concerned and decide on a course of action. The Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defence is calling for written public submissions on the ratification of 2 international treaties. Currently before the committee, chaired by Netani Rika, is the United Nations Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman or Degrading Treatment or Punishment. The other is the Convention for the Unification of Certain Rules for International Carriage by Air, the Montreal Convention. The committee held a closed meeting today, only releasing a media statement on the call for submissions with a deadline of on the 27th of February. The committee is expected to file a parliamentary report on the treaties by the 13th of March, with Parliament scheduled to sit 3 days later. The Prime Minister and the Methodist Church have met to discuss various issues relating to development. Their discussions focused on how the government and the church could work together to improve people's lives. Savara Tambor reports.
The Methodist Church is the largest Christian denomination in the country. In a significant move, a leaders' delegation led by Church President Reverend Tebita Nawandra visited Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama yesterday. Nawandra says the meeting is part of the reconciliation journey that the church started last year. He acknowledged there was a time when relations between the church and the former government led by Bainimarama were not at its best.
All that we are trying to do now is to try and bring to focus what those difficulties were and talk about it. Ely, the Deputy General Secretary, was saying that he should expect or accept that there will be differences.
Nwandra says the meeting was an opportunity for the church to congratulate Bainimarama on his appointment as Prime Minister in the September general election. He says they were also able to express their appreciation for developments that have taken place around the country.
We shared our appreciation of what had taken place and hope that we will continue to work along those lines.
The Methodist Church intends to meet other political parties as part of its journey of reconciliation. It says it hopes by doing so, the church is contributing towards bringing Fiji together. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Coming up, stakeholders promise to push harder in the fight against child labour.
बॉलीवुड हीरो पंती रे Get this.
हीरो सपना दिखेला बंद करो।
क्या करो यार, सबको आती नहीं, मेरी जाती नहीं। मिर्ची मस्त मॉर्निंग में हूँ अश्निल सिंह।
हाय, मैं हूँ काजल।
शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
6 AM to 9 AM।
मिर्ची FM, it's hot।
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Child labour laws will be more severely enforced as part of the Tackle project run by the International Labour Organization. Sakyu Sanaipur reports the ILO has identified child labour laws that are not being applied in many instances.
Phase 2 of the Tackle project has been launched today, promoting education to fight child labour. The project first ran from 2008 to 2013. With many successes as well as challenges.
The weaknesses are with the coordination, the monitoring and the enforcement. And Tackle 2 focuses on trying to strengthen that. The coordination between all the different stakeholders, especially the ministries and civil society, so that if a child is identified in child labour, then the whole referral process to who takes the next.
The European Union has also joined the campaign, funding phase 2 of the project, specifically to get children back into primary school, high school or vocational education. The project will include the Labour Ministry, Police, Social Welfare and the Education Ministry, working together on individual cases of child labour as well as policies that protect children.
I think the Tackle has made a real difference to the lives of a lot of children. I mean, child labour is a real scourge. It needs to be eradicated, and the European Union is committed to do whatever we can to support that ambition.
The Ministry of Labour has had a child labour unit since 2008 to coordinate and lead the action against child labour and implement systems and processes. Tackle 2 will be implemented over the next 24 months and is aimed at getting more children out of child labour and putting them into schools. Sakyu Sanaipur, FBC News.
At the 4th Annual Pacific Conference on Disabilities yesterday, Prime Minister Bainimarama said Fiji has made great strides in bringing people with disabilities in from the margins to the centre of our national life. Along with that, he noted the government is also working with the Fiji National Council for Disabled Persons in an effort to improve the lives of the disabled. Shireen Lata reports.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says no one should be on the margins of national life at any level, not a Fijian nor a Pacific Islander.
A disability inclusive Pacific means bringing people with disabilities from the margins to the center of our national lives. It means implementing programs and providing services that cater to their needs. And it also means bringing them from the margins of decision making to the center of national policy formulation.
Bainimarama says for far too long, people living with disabilities have been among the most disadvantaged in our societies, not only here in the Pacific, but throughout the developing world.
But Fiji's actions to promote the cause of disabled people goes beyond symbolism. Indeed, they form a core section of the Bill of Rights in the Constitution that set up our new democracy of a common and equal citizenry and justice and opportunity for all.
Prime Minister says for the first time in Fiji, the constitution sets out the rights of people with disabilities. Fiji's first ever national baseline disability survey, which was conducted in 2010, revealed that there are 11,500 Fijians living with a disability. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
The state of the region's health will be discussed at length by representatives from 21 Pacific Island countries at an April meeting in Suva. The heads of health ministries will discuss and review the journey that each country has taken and draw plans for the future. Akusita Tale reports.
This leading health specialist will be reviewing what has taken place in the health sector in the Pacific Islands in the last 20 years. Health Minister Choni Usamate says this will be a good time for Fiji to know what the ministry has achieved over the years.
Have we become healthier? And in fact, I think the results show that we are becoming healthier. But the results also show that the rest of the world is improving at a faster rate than us. So here in the Pacific, we need to look at what are issues, how can we plan, what mechanisms can we put in so we can improve health of our people into the future.
The meeting will also review the non-communicable diseases roadmap and the post-2015 Pacific Health Agenda. Usamate says Fiji, like any other Pacific island, will highlight the increasing problem of NCDs.
The problems that we're facing in terms of the extent of diabetes or NCDs is something that is, the trend is much higher than other countries. So really in the Pacific we need to look at innovative ways of dealing with these things.
Healthy Islands was adopted as a unifying theme 20 years ago to promote and protect health in the Pacific. The Healthy Islands report is expected to be reviewed during the two-day meet. The recommendations will then be tabled at the Pacific Health Ministers meeting that will be held in Suva in April. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Today is Ash Wednesday, marking the first day of the season of Lent. More than 500 followers of the Catholic faith flocked to the Sacred Heart Cathedral in Suva to mark Ash Wednesday. Services were held at other parishes around the country. On this day, the priests apply ashes to the foreheads of Christians to signify an inner repentance. Parishioners were today reminded to change their attitudes from bad to good.
As believers, even though we belong to different denominations, but we know what is right and what is wrong. But the main thing is that we really need to move away from all those sinful ways like bad attitudes.
Lent is a time when Christians observe a period of fasting, repentance, moderation and spiritual discipline in preparation for Easter. The new United States Ambassador to Fiji, Judith Sefkin, visited the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation office in Suva today. She paid a courtesy call to FBC Chief Executive Riaz Said Qayyum and was also taken on a tour of the facilities at the Media House. Ambassador Sefkin is a former TV news producer. She took up office this month after her appointment was announced by the U.S. State Department in November last year and also serves as ambassador to Kiribati, Nauru, Tonga and Tuvalu. Sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up, Fiji Sevens team received heroes welcome at Nandi International and Maras Volleyball to compete at Pacific Asia Volleyball Challenge. This and more after the break.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. I hope you're having fun so far. You're listening to The Ride, and I'm Kara, taking you through your afternoon. Stay with me to listen to more awesome classics right here on The Ride. Mulubinaka, for awesome sounds in the afternoon. Wonderful, wonderful classics. Join me on The Ride every weekday right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits from 2 to 7.
Just don't ask me what it was. I think it's cause
Hundreds of fans turned up at Nandi International Airport this morning to welcome home the Vodafone Fiji Sevens team. The Las Vegas tournament champions received a reception that hasn't been seen in recent times, and the players and officials had nothing but smiles on their faces. Josephine Navula has more.
The
Vodafone Fiji Sevens players were mobbed by rugby fans who were eager to get a glimpse of the rugby gladiators after the success in Vegas. Captain Osea Kolinisau says they will need to maintain consistency in the remainder of the series because their fans want nothing less than a win each time.
There's always a great demand to perform in Fiji because everybody expects Fiji, no matter what team with no experience. If we send the Fiji team out, the public always expects a win. There's more demand to win series, but it's getting tougher too.
Kolinisau also revealed the side needed to step up a gear for the final match against New Zealand, which Fiji won 35 points to 19.
The tournament we've been leading, especially from pool games against Wales, and we let them come back with 10 to slacken up. But in the final, we just told them that we just need to maintain this, slow the pace down because we're ahead. There's no need to quicken the pace. We control the game now, so let's control the ball and try and get some points on the board and finish New Zealand off.
Team manager Ropate Kauwesi says the coaching staff have been impressed by the efforts of the players in Wellington and Las Vegas.
We're the only team that are leading with the less loss in the series. So, you know, looking at Wellington and Vegas, it's a vast improvement.
It will be a few days of celebration for the reps who deserve the break before it all starts again in preparation for the Hong Kong and Japan tournaments. Josephine Vula, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Youth and Sports has made an agreement to welcome the Vodafone Fiji 7-side home after every tournament. Minister Laisinia Tuitnumbo was addressing the players at the Raffles Gateway earlier today. He said they will continue to support the players in the upcoming tournaments.
We have made the commitment, and I've told our ministry that despite the result, whether they win or lose, we need to meet the boys. But yes, last weekend you all made our nation proud. You displayed troop patriotism and play like true warriors.
The side begins preparations next week for the Hong Kong Sevens, where it is pooled with Samoa, Canada and Belgium. The Vodafone Fiji Under-20 side was beaten 1-0 by host Myanmar as the two FIFA Under-20 World Cup debutants got their 2015 campaigns underway last night. More than 20,000 local fans packed the stadium in Mandalay to watch the game in which Fiji more than matched the AFC Under-19 Championship semi-finalists. The two sides meet again tomorrow with a third game scheduled for Saturday. Fiji will play in the Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand from May 30th. The Fiji Paralympics table tennis team is currently raising funds for their trip to the 2015 ITTF Oceania Cup and Para Championships in Australia. Association President Mary Roden says despite financial setbacks, their players are well prepared for the tournament.
Currently we are just selling lottery tickets by Fesenok, and we probably have a cut from Fesenok towards Fiji Table Tennis, who will have a contribution towards Fiji Para Table Tennis Club.
The 2015 ITTF Oceania Cup and Para Table Tennis Championships will be held from the 10th to the 12th of April at the Bendigo Stadium and will see prize money totaling over $25,000. The Marist men's volleyball team will compete at the 15th Pacific Asia Volleyball Challenge in New Zealand in April. The team will play against the best in the Pacific as well as clubs from Asia. This is the first time for the side to compete at the tournament, and officials say the tour is a new era for volleyball in Fiji.
It will be a breakthrough not only for us, for volleyball as a whole in Fiji. And we've seen that Sevens team has been going overseas. This will be the first for volleyball team to take part in international competition. So it will open doors to other volleyball. It will only lift the game of volleyball. Getting players to overseas competition, getting the most exposure. It will surely lift the standard of volleyball in Fiji.
The tournament will be played from the 5th to the 11th of April in Manukau, Auckland. A Pool A Cricket World Cup match between Bangladesh and Afghanistan is currently underway. And you can watch the highlights of the New Zealand-Scotland match at 10 p.m. tonight. and also at 9:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. tomorrow right here on Fbctv. That is your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Amalgamated Telecom Holdings Group of companies has recorded an 8% increase in revenue for the third quarter ending December 31st, 2014. ATH announced an interim and unaudited consolidated net profit after tax and minority interest of $28.8 million for that period. This is compared to $12.6 million achieved for the corresponding period last year. ATH says there were increased earnings from its subsidiaries Vodafone Fiji and Telecom Fiji. There were also cost savings, mostly for Fintel, Telecom Fiji and Fiji Directories Limited. The company has announced an interim dividend of $14.7 million. A bit of relief in the weather today as scattered showers and thunderstorms broke the heat. While temperatures only fell slightly, the humidity was reduced, making it feel more comfortable. Temperatures in most major centers were in the 30s. Lambasa topped the list at 33 degrees. Much the same is expected for tomorrow, with isolated showers and occasional thunderstorms across the country. Looking ahead to Friday, the more of the same heading into the weekend. A quick recap of our main stories. Fiji's new trade potential with United Arab Emirates. Prime Minister questions Sidelpa's push for George Speight's parole, and Speaker of the House says she did not hear KC uttered in Parliament. To our poll segment this week, we're asking, are there enough public conveniences? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then, good evening.